Prashonic with BlizzPlanet. I'm here with Michael Bybee, Brian Holinka. So I know you work on PvP, so why don't you talk a little bit about bringing Terran Mill versus South Shore back and the decision behind that?
Yeah, totally.
Why it's exciting?
Well, you know, we saw how Brawls worked in Hearthstone, how Brawls worked in Heroes and Overwatch, and the fact that they brought this fresh content to the game that, you know, it's something that's a little wacky and it brings something different for a little time, but then it goes away. And we thought, well, if we were going to do Brawls for WoW, what would it be like? And of course, South Shore versus Terran Mill was our 10th anniversary battleground, so it was almost like an experiment in Brawls in WoW. So that was kind of like, well, we could do that. That could just be one of them, you know. So that's good. One down.
Sure.
And then we thought, well, what were some other cool ideas we had? So we created all these cool free-for-all arenas for world quests in Legion, and one of them you ride goats and wolves and whatever, and knock people off with the goat charge. And we thought, well, what if that goat existed on Eye of the Storm and everybody's whipping around, knocking each other off the sides? What if we could do easy things like Temple of Katmugu, just people instantly res when they die and things like that. So it just allowed us to say, well, if it's only around for a week, it doesn't really have to be balanced, it doesn't have to be super fair, it can be a thing that is just, man, that was really crazy and, you know, provide a lot of spice to the game, and so I just think it's a great idea.
Are Brawls going to be weekly then? And how
yeah, our current plan is to do a week on, a week off. So, you know, Brawl is there, it's available for the week, and anyone can play it because so many of our players have different play schedules. We figure if we cover 7 days, we get everybody. And then we want it to go away a little bit so players can kind of feel like they're kind of always up. Maybe.
Right. So it's not continuous. There will be gaps in between each one.
That's correct.
Okay. And then will there be world quests around any of that, or?
Well, we are considering doing more free for all PvP style brawls to fit into more PvP free for all world quests, and those would just generally fit into the world quest paradigm already. But I don't think the rewards will feel separate from the world quest system.
You just mentioned micro holidays. Can you talk a little bit about the decision process of how that came to be and why people should be excited about that, and then also how are players going to be able to keep track of this and whatnot?
Yeah, a little bit. So micro holidays will show up in your calendar like other holidays. They are intended right now to be one-day events. As Ian mentioned in his presentation, they're not going to have a lot of permanent rewards that will be tied to them, so that you feel oh, I missed boat day, and I feel really bad because I missed boat day. The intent is more for if, hey, you're playing right now, this is boat day, you know what, I'm going to go do something different. I'm going to go out to this place that I haven't visited in a little while, and I'm going to experience something with other players and have something that I can't usually have in World of Warcraft. So the intent is really to make these, a little bit more casual. Some are more serious, like the Encourage Remembrance Day, but a lot of them are really fun and just something else to add to the world that players will experience for years to come.
So are these all going to be patched in, or a year's worth of micro holidays patched in at once, so people can kind of look at a calendar and see, cool, I know where these are, I want to make sure that I see these, or is it going to be kind of a steady flow month to month, or what's the plan for that?
I think it'll be the ones that we'll do the earlier ones, because from a development standpoint, they need to be in before they happen. But it's not guaranteed that the full years will come in 715.
Okay.
So the ones that need to be in there between 715 and 72 will definitely be in there.
Sure.
But I don't think it'll be oh, and then there's this one on 72, and it comes that day it comes out.
Gotcha.
So it'll likely a micro holiday might show up a little bit after 72. So
cool. Are they going to be permanent though? So if it happened boat day or whatever, it happened this year on this day, it'll happen again the same.
That's the intention right now.
As permanent as anything in World of Warcraft.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Are they going to be unlocked account-wide, or are you going to have to do them on a per-character basis for the class mounts?
So it'll be going to your mount collection.
Right.
So if you have other classes of that type, it should be available to you. I believe that's the intention right now.
Okay.
But obviously it'll be restricted by class. So.
Sure. Okay. So you guys are talking about class halls. I think that's one of the coolest features of the expansion. It definitely has done what Garrisons didn't do. It feels like you have a community and whatnot. So it's really awesome how that's working out. How can we see the class halls connecting to what's going to happen with 7.2 and the Tomb of Sargeras? We're going to have more quests to finish that off, or how's that going to work?
So the storyline of the class order hall actually ties right into Tomb of Sargeras content. Ian mentioned it in his presentation yesterday. Sort of the high level story is that we got defeated in the Broken Shore, and now we're going back to the Broken Shore. And the way that we're doing that isn't with the Horde and Alliance this time. We're actually getting those classes to band together, and they're going to form a new sort of council called the Armies of Legion Fall.
Okay.
So you're going to be doing quests for the Armies of Legion Fall. You're going to be like trying to, maybe if you're a mage, you're going to see maybe more of your class. Maybe your mages will be the guards of the Armies of Legion Fall sometimes. You'll be able to unlock really cool class-specific stuff that only appears in the Broken Shore and is tied into your class. But you'll also be able to do stuff with other classes. Maybe you'll be able to get troops or other material from those other classes, and you'll start to be able to like see this interaction. It's going to be really fun.
Sounds awesome. Speaking of legendaries, can you talk about the decision to make legendaries so different than they've been in the past? It's basically just random drops at this point. You're not working towards building something. I realize we have artifacts, and so we're building and progressing our artifacts, but legendaries are very different than what they've been in the past.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
All I was going to say is like a lot of
I'll
times
avoid answering a legendary question.
Well, a lot of times when we're thinking about rewards like that, we're thinking about how it fits in the larger ecosystem of rewards, right? So legendaries in the past had a sort of a prominent position. You didn't have artifacts, and there was gearing and raids, but a lot of players were also just working like, I got to get my legendary ring, I got to get my cloak, right? But this time we had artifacts, and the way that system is designed is you're constantly working towards building up your artifact. Some of the things Ian announced yesterday for 7.2 are additional traits for artifacts. There's going to be additional plans in the future. There's a lot of great future for that system. So, we had a spot in our sort of loot ecosystem that was already built, so we wanted to find something else. The other side is we wanted to make it exciting to see it drop it. Like, hey, I got this legendary. I never see this. This is so incredible. Like, wow. I know in my guild, when people started getting legendaries, they were like, holy crap, I got a legendary. Oh my, I'm so excited. So recreating that experience has been really fun.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a drop experience that we haven't had in quite some time. Because you get to a point where it's like, yep, we got another epic. Okay, what's the item level? Now this is like, oh, this is actually something rare and meaningful. So
surprising,
it's pretty fun. Yeah,
I think having the restriction on the number of legendaries has been very important, because it could become very easy that we now get down this slippery slope of orange is
everyone has orange.
Orange is the new purple. Orange is the new blue.
So, obviously, at the end of the panel yesterday, we kind of dropped the whole Argus thing, right? So, I don't think it was super clear. Is this going to be...
Yes.
And I know you probably can't talk too much, is it a 7.3 thing? Are we saying, is this going to be like our cliffhanger? Like, are we actually going to Argus this expansion? What can you talk about?
I think we wanted to clarify that was a 7.3 thing.
Okay.
Not a, what's next thing.
Right.
So yeah, that's the intent.
7.3, we are going to Argus.
Okay.
Bringing the fight to them.
How big of a patch is that going to be? Are we expecting just as big as any other point patch in the past with raids and quests and all of that, or is it supposed to be a little bit more of a smaller patch to tide us over to what's next?
We're not talking too much about exactly what's in 7.3 right now, but the 7.1.5 is kind of a smaller patch. 7.2 is a bigger raid content patch, and 7.3 will be more similar. I don't want to say it's exactly the amount of content as 7.2 or anything, but that's more along the lines. It's more like 7.2 than
a substantial patch.
Yeah.
The bottom line is we have a lot of plans for 7.3, so we're excited about that, but not ready to talk about it.
That's fine. I didn't think you could talk that much, but just it's pretty exciting to see that little teaser art.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to change how things are going to be.
So often the change, it's not like we don't want to talk about it. It's always because we
right.
We put something in 7.2, and then you see it. Well, that worked. That didn't work. Let's change it to 7.3. So we want to make sure we see how these things go.
You knew you were going to get asked, though. That was a pretty big tease.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got big characters in Illidan, Maiev, Khadgar, and everybody. Can you talk a little bit about their role in the Tomb of Sargeras? Are we going to be fighting alongside of them, kind of how we've had in the past, since this is such a big raid, or are they just going to kind of be there on the sidelines?
Well, they're definitely going to play a big part, but I think the character you did mention is also going to be a big part of that is Illidan.
I did mention. I thought I said Illidan.
So Illidan is going to be a huge part of that patch and the continuing story of Legion. And we have a lot of plans for him, and if players are doing him right now, there's an extension to the Illidan storyline that just came out. It's